I'll cover some of the energy aspect too, because along with water, we have a lot of use of energy to run these machines or processes. So then after, I will be discussing what we did in our project and what results we achieved and what were our recommendations based on the project of wastewater treatment and reuse we did in Al Rahim textile industry. So this slide is just covering that when we have a textile good or textile fabric or textile cloth, and normally we use cotton as the main textile fabric, or in fiber farm or in cloth farm. So basically textiles fabric look like this. They are yellow in color because cotton is naturally due to some natural colors and pigments, it appeared as yellow in color. So before it need to be dyed or printed, it is processed, bleached, and alkalined, casticized, so as to improve its absorbency, its whiteness, so as we can color it and finish it or print it. So as you can see here, there is a sequence of all the processes which we need to pursue just to make a textile fabric ready for its intended use. So it can be used as a home textile, bed sheets, curtains, or as an apparel. Okay, so all these processes like bleaching and mercerizing, alkaline, printing and dyeing, all these processes are being done in presence of water, because water is used as a medium to pursue every process. As I will give you an example of a washing machine at our home. We used to clean the dirt of a textile fabric or textile garment by using the washing machine, and washing machine run on water. So we apply detergent in water, and we have a soapy water to process or to perform the washing and rinsing at home. Similarly, we need water to perform all these processes. So take an example of these machines. These are very bulkier machines. As I mentioned, some of the processes here, their name are mentioned, but when you see, these are jumbo jet machines. Okay, each process is being carried on these machines to bleach or dye the fabric. And as you can see, these are continuous machines, and this is a schematic flow. So a textile good need to be transported from this machine for any processing, like we are doing bleaching or dyeing or printing. And for every bath, this is the bath, water bath. So it is half filled with water. So there are around 10 to 15 baths in every machine. So a textile good is passing from all these baths and finally being treated and processed at textile industry. So take an example that we have a variety of machines from single bath to 15 bath or chambers, and every chamber is filled with around 1 cubic meter, 1200 liters of water. And as the fabric is being continuously passed and conveyed from these processes, so there is a continuous generation of wastewater, there is a continuous use of water, and there is a continuous production of textile garment, either it's bleached, dyed, or printed, or finished. So this was the example of continuous processes. Here the production rate in textile industry is very high. Traditionally, when we talk about textile processing or textile dyeing, so we have the conventional bath. There are single cylinder drums. They are filled with water and some of the chemical recipes or some of the dyeing recipes. So textile fabric is being passed continuously from this machine until we got the desired color or bleaching or finishing of the fabric. So these machines use less water compared to the continuous machines, but their wastewater loading or composition is very high. So we have a high COD and BOD release from these processes. So these are conventionally being used. Now we have usage of these machines at the textile industry. So about Pakistan textile sector, there was one study conducted by Cleaner Technology Program for Textile Industry in collaboration with government of Netherlands. So they benchmarked that around 80 to 20 liters per kilogram of liters of water is being used while we are performing any process of textile industry. And out of this consumption, 20 to 25% is excessive than the requirement, actual requirement. And out of it, 10 to 15% can be managed easily and could be saved by configuring or by redesigning the process, what we discussed in our last slides. And in Pakistan, 80 to 90% of the textile industry wastewater which is generated, they are not processed and not treated well. So they are directly being disposed in sea or water bodies. So when we talk about the composition of wastewater coming from these industries, from textile industry, as we can see, the textile industry wastewater is very complex in nature because we use a lot of chemicals and different types of the chemicals. Some are hazardous, like they are metal-based compounds and VOCs-based compounds, and some are hard to treat. They are unbiodegradable, so their treatment is very difficult. And some are the dispersible compounds, like oil and waxes and foams, which are being applied for textile processing to perform some of the finishing operation in textile processes. So, and one volume is also a high volume. The textile industry wastewater is also of high volume. Means we are not talking about 1 cubic meter or 2 cubic meter or 10 cubic meter of water. We are talking about 3,000, 2,000 cubic meter of water being generated on daily basis. And they are severely contaminated with all these VOCs, metals, and printing paste and dye colorants. And there are a lot of alkalis and caustic soda and many acids and ionic loading in the water. So in nature, textile process generated wastewater is hard to degrade, and it's very multidisciplinary and complex nature. So in detail, if we talk about every process we covered in our last slides, so as you can see here, some of the starch, waxy compounds, alkalis, dyes, and formaldehyde based products and finishing agents, some of the printing pastes and gum, and some of the antibacterial finishes which are applied on every process, they generate a huge amount of COD and BOD and high ionic and organic loading in the wastewater system. So it's very important to consider the treatment of such ionic or high BOD or COD loading. And after consideration, it is very critical to treat a wastewater with such composition. So in Pakistan, because there is a lot of pressure by the international customers, like European and American customers, they are demanding textile industries to process their water and to treat their water and to reuse it as much as possible. So they are working now on zero water discharge and zero discharge of organic compounds or the chemical compounds in as a effluent. So many industries, some of the renowned name are Yunis Textile Mills, Surti Denim, Al Rahim Textile Industries, and Artistic Denim Industries. They have started to treat their water. So what they have adopted, they have initially adopted the biological treatment and MBR treatment, mixed membrane biological reactors, and finally RO treatments, intensive tertiary treatments, and they are reusing and recovering around 60 to 70% of the water. So with this aim, we got funding from USAID, and we started this project in 2018 in Al Rahim textile industry. So our main target was to start in a reverse engineering way, because normally when we talk about any wastewater, we always think about the end of pipe treatment. So finally, when we have the mixed influent coming from any textile industry, we are focusing to treat that. But in order to treat this very stream with a lot of variation and use of critical compounds, it is important to understand first the process and the chemistry of the process, then to start the designing the operating conditions and parameter conditions for the wastewater treatment plant. So what we did, we started our work from production floor, where actually the textile production is happening. So we started with the processes that we discussed, like we initially first studied the process and studied out the consumption patterns and wastewater composition from every process. Then we came across on the designing of all the operating conditions in order to treat the mixed water which is coming from different streams. So we knew first the chemistry, then we designed the operating conditions of the wastewater treatment plant. And also, along with knowing the consumption and individual patterns of each process, we also studied that from where we can directly reuse or recycle the water without disposing it directly. So we started a partnership with Al Rahim Textile Industry, and they also offered some of the financial contribution. So we went through their industrial needs, what they need, and we did some fundamental research. And then we transformed that fundamental research into applied research that we implement for wastewater reuse and treatments for all the processes that are being carried out at Al Rahim Textile Industry. So what we did, so basically this is a chart of all the processes which are being done at Al Rahim Textile Industry. So we studied all the patterns and consumption sequences of every process. Okay, so we monitor the flows, water flows and wastewater flows, and we also monitor which process generate a high accumulated water, where the waste composition in water is very critical, and where the waste composition is in diluted form, which could be recycled. So all these processes we investigated first before moving for any wastewater treatment. So also we explore the on-site wastewater recovery options. And also we analyze COD, BOD, and basic water quality parameters after each process. And we make an average that for each process, what amount of COD and BOD and what amount of TDS and pH and what are the ionic loads of each process. So we can categorize the processes which are less loading, which have the few loading, or which have the less composition of the COD, BOD. We can characterize them from the process which generate a high COD and BOD. Also, then after, by covering all these processes individually, then we studied the mixed wastewater in correlation with the results what we got. And then after we started to design the operating conditions of the wastewater treatment plant and RO membranes. So initially what we did, we also developed a water management system, which is very valid for every textile industry. So we worked on 5 basic principles. We asked the processing production crew or managerial staff at Al Rahim Textile Industry, they should know and adjust the actual process water requirement. And they adopt some of the on-site water reuse and management practices within their industry. And also we worked on cooling water and steam condensate recovery. So I will cover in detail in proceeding slides that what is cooling water and what is steam condensate and how it is important. and why it is important. And also we worked on water related maintenance, and also we then after finally we modified some of the processes to save water on site or within the process. Rather focusing on the end of pipe treatment, we started to work first on the processing facility where these water actually being used and textile production is being followed. So as you can see, what we did, this is basically a scheme of a machine, a continuous machine. It has 10 washing chambers. In each washing chamber, there is a freshwater flow, and each chamber is filled with around 1 cubic meter or 1200 liters of water. So textile good is being passed or processed from these processes. So what we did, we basically uh, developed a Excel model. We gave this model to the Al Rahim Textile Industry Processing Facility. We asked them to fill this Excel model with the production, daily production, and their water consumption. So as we can relate that what is the actual requirement, allow as per the kilogram of fabric being processed. Like here, this is the example of bleaching machine or bleaching process. Normally, a bleaching process can take around 13 liters of water for per kg processing. Okay, and if we are producing a 1500 kg of fabric or textile goods, we are bleaching, we need around 20 cubic meter of water per hour. So if this machine will be running for 10 hours, so our consumption will be 200 cubic meter. But if our flow meter and our production reading will be different, so this model will compute the excess water consumption of this process, and they will start working where the water leakage occur, and if the consumption of water is as per the requirement of the process or not, or it's higher or lower. Similarly, what we did, we also designed a model, a computing model for dyeing process. So in dyeing process, they were having 8 chambers of water, and 8 chambers of or 8 baths which are required to process or to dye this textile good. And we have a water intake at chamber number 3, 5, and 7. So what we did, we asked production dyeing facility at Al Rahim Textile Industry to fill this model with the daily production and water consumption. So as we can compute that what is the actual consumption going on at machine. And we also compute the benchmark of this process, that this process needs 17 cubic meter per hour of water. But if the consumption is higher, then we need to work on the machine if there is some leakage or some faulty some error is going on in this machine related to water consumption. We also worked on exhaust dyeing processes. So these processes have Likert ratio. So they use around, for every 1 kg, they use 6 kg of water. So normally this is the Likert ratio at Al Rahim Textile Industry. So we compute according to this Likert ratio. So there is around 6 loadings from initially starting from the bleaching to dyeing the fabric. And there is around 30 cubic meter of water consumption. And we worked that if we have reduced down one loading, and if we are combining the rinsing and neutralization operation, so we can save around 3000 liter per lot. Even after we asked them to check their water flow meters on daily basis, and also to compute the water balance models on daily basis, and also to check the functioning of water controlling valves, and also to have the process sequencing in a way that if we need to dye a single lot with a red color, so red color should run on the whole day. So there is no any change of sequence. Like if we will be dyeing or printing red color or blue color or yellow color combined in one day, so there will be continuous machine loading and disloading and unloading. So when we have a new loading of water, so there is a fresh consumption of water. So we ask them to improve the sequence. And also what we did, we identified the streams where the wastewater which is generated is it's in diluted form. So it can be recycled in some of the pre-washing stages. So we worked on bleaching machines, and there what we did, we recover uh, wastewater generated after this washing stage, and there is a screening which is removing the suspended solids, and finally it is being pumped in the pre-washing stage. And also they are using now the heat exchanger which is being applied to recover the energy of this drain water for heating the fresh water. And to run this machine, to run this process very effectively, we asked them to manage the cleaning of these heat exchangers and these screens on every shift of 12 hours. Also, cooling water is termed as the water which is being used for cooling of the drums and some of the hot medium. So in textile industry, there are a lot of rollers and cylinders which are being which got heat after their process. So they are being cooled down by using the fresh water. So what we did, we identified some of these spots where cooling water is being drained directly without its recovery. So we asked them to deploy the pumps and to recover this water and to recycle this water and recollect this water. So at this one machine, they saved around 1,000 gallons by doing this simple practice, by only recovering and pumping it back to the system. And normally condensate is normally in textile industry we have a use of steam. So saturated steam is being used for heating these mediums. And when saturated steam is being applied for heating the bath or chemical baths or water baths, it's become condensate. So it condense out. While transferring it heat to the water, it condense out. And it need to be collected and transported back in the feed water system, which is feeding the water for the towards the steam boiler. So this steam boiler is basically producing steam, supplying the steam to the process, and where from we have this recovery of this condensate again in the system. So normally these condensate pumps got failed at textile industry. So condensate is being drained directly and it's being mixed with the effluent or wastewater. So we have identified some of the condensate recovery pumps which were failed at Al Rahim Textile Industry. So because of this, they have also a high temperature in their wastewater. And when we have a high wastewater temperature, it is very difficult to biologically treat it. Then after water related maintenance is very important. So it is very important to check that water is not directly being drained or water walls are not manually open, and we have a proper calibrated flow meters, and we have water controlling walls which are basically controlling the water intake as per the requirement of the process. So with respect to time, they got failed. So they need to be monitored and checked on regular basis to run it effectively to manage the water balance. So with small modifications, what we did, we were able to save a lot of water within the process. So without being working on wastewater zero discharge at wastewater treatment plant, we have saved a lot of gallons in within the process. So these were just the examples that we quoted, that we save some of the amount by avoiding the rinsing cycles, excessive rinsing cycles, and we have some of the recovery of condensate and some of the reduction of the water loading it. We reduce also the liquor ratio from 1:6 to 1:5, and it saves around 1100 gallons of water consumption for per thousand of fabric. So other method we can consider, even we can have the combined neutralization and rinsing procedures while we are doing exhaust dyeing, and we can reuse the dark shades dyeing water in lighter shades. And also we can improve the color fixation by using some of the chemical fixers, because in dyeing process around 20% of the colorants we apply, they are not fixed on the fabric or textile good, they got transported with the water. So there is a wastage of 25% of color. So now textile industries, they are focusing on chemical use of chemical fixer to fix the color and to improve the color fixation and to save this color which is being draining with the water. So coming to the wastewater treatment plant. So after working on the industrial processing facility, finally we approached to the wastewater treatment plant. So they have the primary treatment, which is physiochemical treatment, use of coagulant and flocculants. Then they have the aeration basin, and after this aeration basin, they have the membrane treatments. So they are now, Al Rahim Textile Industry is recovering around 60% of its water by using these physiochemical and biological processes, and finally the RO membrane filtration. So as you can see, we perform the sampling at the inlet and after every stage to analyze the performance of each process being taken at wastewater treatment facility at Al Rahim Industry. And we were being closely monitoring every stage with the amount of COD and BOD loading and ionic loadings in order to control the designing parameters. And as you can see, we first summarize the average COD and TDS load from every process. So we came across that bleaching processes, they have the high COD loading because of the use of the chemicals. And some of the exhaust processes, they have severe COD loading because of the less amount of water. And also the ionic load was very higher from bleaching operation and from mercerizing operations because of the use of the caustic soda. And finally, we summarize, we correlate with the results we got in the mixed effluent after each process. So at Al Rahim, we had a problem that their COD and BOD load was very less. So the biological treatment was very difficult because of the low nutrient and food to microbe ratios. So their plant was designed to treat 2500 COD, but they were they were having around 1000 COD of average. So it was difficult to perform the biological treatment. So what we did, we tested their wastewater at our center, and we run around 3 cycles, 3 batches with some of the seedings by nutrient seeding, like use of dung and urea. So we identified that we were able to achieve the 95% of COD removal by using of some of the seedants or inoculants in the wastewater. So also what we did, we replicate the same thing what we achieve at the lab scale, and we did seeding in the aeration basin of Al Rahim Textile Industry. Then we performed the fluorescence in situ hybridization to see the microbial colonies in the wastewater, and we detected some of the microbial community being stabilizing and generating in the wastewater treatment facility at Al Rahim Textile Industry by managing it with the supplement nutrient addition. So initially, as I mentioned earlier, that temperature is very critical issue in mixed wastewater of industry, textile industry. So with this temperature, we cannot perform any biological activity. So the biological growth is very less. So we asked them to install this cooling tower to reduce the temperature of wastewater which is being coming from the textile industry, just to perform the biological activity. And there was another challenge that, as I mentioned, that BOD and COD ratios were very less. So also there was no any feed for the bacteria to grow. So we managed this ratio by nutrient loading from jiggery and urea and animal dung to increase the biological growth and biological activity in the aeration basin. So this was very odd for the textile towel industry. Normally textile industry, they have the COD loading of around 2000 to 3000, but in Al Rahim textile industry, they are a towel based industry. They have the COD load of around 1000 milligram per liter, which is very difficult to be controlled because it's very less COD nutrient loading for any biological activity to perform. And also we highlighted in our working that they have the use of PVA and volatile fatty acids. So they were passing from the clarifiers towards the membrane, and there was the choking of membrane. There was they were requiring immediate flushing after 3 hour or 4 hour cycles. So what we did, we separated these polyvinyl alcohol and volatile fatty acids streams from the streams which are being treated by biological basin and membranes, just to avoid this problem. And we developed 4 scenarios out of all the conditions we faced or challenges we faced at Al Rahim Textile Industry. So I'm just now passing quickly these slides. You can see the details in our project. Finally, I will share also the link for the project report. We also compiled one detailed project report. If you are interested, you can see all the results and all the discussion sections. So we summarize these 4 scenarios depending on the conditions, what challenges we faced at Al Rahim, and we asked them to maintain all these conditions just to run this wastewater treatment facility in very efficient or smooth way. And finally, for membrane operation, we studied the membrane operation for up to 3 months, and we continuously been looking at the TDS load which are coming at the permeate and also the feed quality. And we were able to achieve around 60% recovery by managing the smooth operation of RO. And so we also considered some of the key consideration for RO operation. We asked them to have a good anti-scalate use and managing of the silt density index, and some of the organic load feeding avoidance. And these basically, when we have the high organic load which is received after secondary treatment, so there is a chance of foul at membrane. So we were able to achieve less than 30 COD for RO feed. So when we achieve this less than 30 ppm COD of load for as a RO membrane feed, we were able to achieve some of the good recovery and some of the good backwashing frequency. And also they are now working on caustic recovery. So caustic recovery, they can there is a lot of ionic load in form of caustic, in form of sodium coming from the machine or from the processes. So it's been difficult to treat. So all these ionic loads are being accumulating on the membrane. So we put some recommendations to use caustic recovery and optimize use of the coagulants. And also we recommended them, currently they have the sand filter as a RO primary feed, but we recommended to use ultrafiltration membrane just to increase the efficiency of RO membranes. And with these achievements and these targets and development of water management system, we were able to achieve around 2 lakhs gallons of water per day. And also we stabilize the wastewater treatment plant operation. And we also recover some of the energy in form of steam condensate recovery and use of heat exchangers. And also we developed 4 scenarios and different development conditions for running a wastewater treatment plant more effectively, because for textile industry, there, due to a lot of variation, process variation, it is very difficult to manage the wastewater treatment plant operation. So we designed some of the conditions that are related to the changes in the process, and similarly to tune the wastewater treatment plant accordingly. So I have shared here the link to access this project report if you are interested. So after this project, now we are we have started another project with the same Al Rahim Textile Industry, and we got this HEC funding. So now what we are doing, we are recovering the sludge, and we are treating the industrial sludge with organic waste, and we are about to produce the methane and the biofertilizer for soil applications. So we achieved this grant from HEC, and we are running this project also along in collaboration with Al Rahim Textile Industry. So these were the some facilities which are available at our center that we applied in our project. And if anyone is interested to collaborate to work on these instruments, or have some collaboration with textile industrial related project, I'm welcome. So with this, I complete my presentation. If you have any question,